Hello and welcome to Bloomberg Quint Live. Well, it was a dull day till about 10:30 today. That's when the finance minister came out and started addressing the media. And boy, did the picture change from there on. So much so that any other event prior to the announcements holds little value right now. The government has chosen to go all out in cutting tax rates for corporates and market participants, but more on that later. Let's first take a look at the impact it has had on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty. And I'm going to start by taking a look at how things have panned out over the course of the week. Of course, we're looking at a 2.3% gain for the mid-cap index. Of course, this is the Nifty mid-cap index. And well, similarly, we have good gains coming in for as far as the Nifty is concerned as well. I'm going to talk about that in just a bit. Okay, so we may as well finish addressing some of these counters there. So we do have Titan, which is advanced by around 12.5%, HUL, Bajaj Finance, Asian Paints, Britannia Industries, all those heavyweights which are richly valued consumption names have advanced. On the losing end, we have Yes Bank and Zee Entertainment having a tough day of trade, or rather I would say a tough week of trade. Well, this is of course your 1 week move, but I want to actually focus a little more on the way the indices have progressed through the course of the week and what they've done, because that will certainly give you a better idea. This is your Nifty 50 through the course of the week, hanging around 11,000 mark, eventually coming down. At one point in time, it had moved below the mark of 10,700, and after today's announcements, it's rushed back up. In one point in time, it was well above the mark of 11,300. So there certainly are a lot of gains coming in on the back of the big changes that the finance minister has made. And look at the Nifty Bank. That picture is no different. In fact, this is where gains are much more as compared to the Nifty. But on that note, let me get in Darshan Mehta to tell us a little more about what these announcements are, because all of this then will make sense when it comes to the markets. Darshan.
Yeah, so basically, if you're looking at it, the tax cut was the biggest event that happened, because both on the corporate tax side, which was earlier in excess of 30%, is being brought down to 22%. So with all the surcharges and everything, it moves to almost 25.17%. Yep. If you take a look at this, is the corporate tax earlier, now 22%, and with all the surcharge and all, it comes to 25.17%. As far as the new domestic manufacturing tax is concerned, that has also been lowered from a 25%. It's moved to 15%, and with all the effective tax rate, it comes to almost 17%. So that's the trend that we're seeing at this point of time. Lots of companies here which have taxes in higher. Some of them have had taxes in higher of in excess of 40%. So companies like India Cement, Grasim, Apollo Hospitals, Piramal Enterprises, IRB, AB Capital, all of them have taxes in excess of 40%. Certain companies have taxes in between 30% and 40%. Includes like Oracle Finance, there is Thyrocare, there's Sanofi, PVR. So all these companies benefit because the tax rate from 40% or 30% moves down to 25%.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at some of the companies that will gain significantly in terms of tax saving, and we've arranged them according to the tax saving. So the best tax saving will come into ONGC, 7,000 crores of tax save. There's HDFC Bank, Coal India, Tata Steel. So some of the metal and oil names benefit significantly. Then you have companies like your oil marketing companies, you have your Reliance, ITC, 1,500 crores of saving there. And all these counters managed to move up significantly in trade. Most of them were up in excess of 10% in trade. So the impact on corporate tax and saving a lot of money, that impacted a lot of these stocks today.
Fair enough. And of course, that's the reason why you're seeing that gains. Darshan, thank you so much for joining us and taking us through these various updates with respect to the corporate tax cuts, as well as the kind of implications that they've have on several of these very large cap companies in terms of savings. But that said, given the move that we've seen today, it's quite naturally it has completely changed the picture when it comes to the benchmark. So, well, based on that, I'm going to take a look at how things have changed, and it's a little bit of a reversal, because until yesterday we had the maximum open interest around the 11,000 call. All right, that means that was the upper range of the Nifty. And now that has suddenly become the lower range of the Nifty. The 11,000 put is where you see max OI. The other positive is that you don't really see too much of an accumulation across the upper level calls, which means that the markets have still not figured out what the resistance is on the higher end. This certainly augurs very well for the sentiment of the market, and the options range is telling you something about where your bets are now placed. Even after 11,000 on the lower end, you couldn't possibly go as much beyond, much beyond around 10,800, at least in the near term. So it's going to be hard to take out these levels. So these are just some of the levels that we can watch out for. But besides that, let's also take a look at all the events that we may be watching out for. So, we of course have the Prime Minister Modi and Donald Trump's address rally in Houston, and we should get some more cues about all the updates there. And of course, Prime Minister Modi is also going to address the United Nations General Assembly on Friday 27th. So we'll be watching out for that. That's a big event then. And besides that, of course, we continue to keep an eye on how the markets are moving, because some may argue that today's market move was rather strong, and there could be some moderation coming in the coming weeks. On the other hand, you also have some names suggesting that this is just a start to the next leg of a rally. But again, time will tell, and we're going to have to watch for those cues. But we certainly are expecting a reversal when it comes to the FII selling. Whether or not that comes through, today is the first day of that start of the trend, and we're going to have to watch out for that as well. On that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but there is lots more lined up. Stay tuned to Bloomberg.